And to counter these new rules and bills, a national movement is taking place to put a human face on the transgender community. It's called the Transgender Freedom Project, and it's created by the nonprofit Freedom for All Americans. I am joined live now by Casey Suffredini, the director of the Transgender Freedom Project. Casey, how are you?
I'm great. Good to be with you.
Thanks for coming on. So let's talk about the goal of the project. Is the goal of this project by really sharing these personal stories, and in doing so, you are kind of putting a face on the trans community for the nation?
Yeah, that's exactly right. What we're seeing happening in the country right now is folks who are opposed to equality for gay and transgender Americans are spreading very dangerous and harmful and hurtful lies about who transgender people are, about what it means to be a transgender person. And the whole point of the Transgender Freedom Project is really to introduce Americans to who transgender people really are. We are going to be working to separate the facts from the fiction, because we know that when Americans have the facts, when they know who we are, they're going to come down on the side of fairness.
In my 11 years here working in the San Francisco Bay Area, it seems like it's always been same-sex marriage, same-sex marriage. So would you say that the fight over transgender rights in some way has now kind of taken the place of same-sex marriage kind of as the top issue for the LGBT community?
It has certainly taken the baton, and part of the reason for that, frankly, is that the same forces that were opposed to marriage equality are opposed to any kind of equality or fairness for gay or transgender Americans, and they found their newest thing that they can push to try to not only stop progress, but to try to roll back laws and protections that have been in place for many years. And so, of course, the movement is going to focus on what they're pushing out in order to continue to be able to move progress forward. But we feel very confident that Americans generally, as we saw with marriage equality, Americans generally believe in fairness. As they came to know gay people and same-sex couples, they came to support marriage equality. We know that as they come to know transgender people like me, that they will support transgender equality, and that's what this project is all about.
Let's talk about, I love stories, and I admire people who share their personal stories. Was there a moment in your life, Casey, where you kind of just got ticked off, you got angry and said, you know what, this is my battle, this is my passion, this is the road I have taken, and I need to fight for this community?
Well, my experience of coming to this work was really about wanting to make sure that it is easier for kids growing up than it was for me. I've generally been very lucky, but like for most transgender people, it's a very difficult decision to ultimately reveal that you are transgender. You have to come out to your entire world about something that is just so private and ask everybody around you, your friends, your family, your coworkers, everybody in your community to really transition with you. And it requires a lot of faith in the people around you. I have been very lucky that my friends and my family have been very supportive of me, but like many other transgender people, I have been physically assaulted by strangers in public places because I am transgender. And ultimately, I just want to make sure that more Americans have a better experience than I have had.
And as we wrap up here, I mean, here in the Bay Area, I've seen, notable gains for the transgender community. But Casey, we can't really say that for the majority of the states, outside of this bubble that we live in. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the majority of the states, you are seeing progress. What's your opinion on that?
We have seen progress in a number of states, but we definitely have a long way to go. There is an active campaign right now to pass public accommodations protections for transgender people in Massachusetts, and there is overwhelming support there. All of the New England sports teams, and they know a thing or two about bathrooms and locker rooms, right? All the New England sport teams have come out in support of that bill. Hundreds of corporations, all the municipalities that already have these protections. There are definitely people out there. We see this in the response to what's happening in North Carolina too. There are definitely people out there who support transgender people, who are really seeing what's happening right now as a rallying cry and a wake-up call to get involved and to help us advance these protections so that we can achieve our American dream like everybody else. All
right, Casey Suffredini, director of the Transgender Freedom Project. Casey, thanks for taking the time and joining us today.